Welcome to an exclusive preview into the athletic programs at Olathe 4 high schools. You'll hear from coaches at North, South, East, and Northwest as they discuss their prospects for the upcoming season. And you'll meet some of their featured players. This is Coach Report. At Olathe North, improvement is the goal for both squads this year. However, the coaches are looking at two different paths for getting there. The Lady Eagles fielded one of the youngest teams in the 2010-11 season. A starting lineup of 3 juniors and 2 sophomores from that team might bode well for this year's squad, which along with its starters, returns its top 3 bench players. Finishing winless in the Sunflower League, and with only 3 victories overall, Olathe North's girls hope last season's growing pains will turn into this season's success. Joining us now in his 4th year at the helm of the Lady Eagles, Josh Price. Coach Price, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Tell us a little bit about what you learned from last year, what you're able to bring out after kind of a tough season last year. What are we looking for this year with your girls?
Well, definitely an improvement at every position. Last year we only had 1 returning varsity player on our team, and this year we returned 5 starters. So at the very beginning our expectations are much different, and just trying to convey that to our seniors and really build some leadership amongst that class.
Well, this is an unproven team. Can you use a few words to describe what this team's personality will be like?
Well, they've always been very hard workers. You know, sometimes the basketball skill is something that we've been working on throughout those 3 years they've been here, but you know, that effort is going to pay off someday, and now that we have that experience, I think that along with their hard work ethic, hopefully those 2 things combined will result in some different experiences as far as the win-loss column this year.
Now, Coach, you do have a few proven players from last year. Who should your fans be looking out for?
I'd say number 1 would be Emily Hazelwood. She's a senior and a 3rd-year starting varsity player for us, 3-year letter in on our team, and she's kind of the heartbeat of our team. She really gets after it with both her energy and her defensive genius. She's always the one that guards the best offensive player on the other team, and so we're kind of really look to her for the experience. Obviously we have all 5 stars back, so I think all of them will play a role, but also kind of interesting, we've got a couple transfers into Olathe North this year. Really going to kind of see how they blend in with the product we already have. Very excited to see that happen on the floor, but probably most importantly would be Jessica Schiebel. She's going to be a junior for us this year. She's a 6'2" post on the inside, a very big presence in the Sunflower League, and just kind of building off of her experiences last year, really hope to kind of lean on her for both some scoring threats as well as a nice rebounding threat on the inside.
For more on Jessica, we bring you this player profile.
I think this year is going to be probably one of our strongest years that we've had. Like last year we were a new team kind of when we started getting the hang of it towards the end of the season, and this year we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we definitely have some depth this year on the bench, and it'll help us a lot. As a post player, I'm basically there as a main priority for looking for a shot. I'm really good at keeping my base and getting around people and just going up strong with the ball and just taking it to the hole. It's just as physical as the guys' game, if not more. I mean, us girls tend to have more of a temper than some of the guys. Oh yeah. Every day I think about it. I cannot wait to get on that court and start playing.
The Eagles will be short on team experience this year, but will be led by a 3-year starter who has logged time in the trenches in both basketball and football. Coming off a disappointing 3-8 league finish, 7-14 overall, this year's squad will be looking for its newcomers to hit the ground running. Going into his 8th year, head coach Jeff Walton leads the Eagles. Coach, welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us here.
Thanks for having me.
You have 1 player you're returning who had significant minutes last year. That sounds like quite a challenge.
You know, it really is. You know, particularly when basketball is a sport where you have to make cuts and things like that. We have to make our decisions pretty early. But regardless of what happens, because we're not bringing very many kids back, is our inexperienced kids, whether they're younger kids or whether they're older kids who are going to be able to win the spot, they're going to have to be able to play as experienced players very quickly. And not only that, but sometimes when you go into that situation with basketball, young players make young mistakes when the lights are on. And so for us to have a good start to a season, those younger kids, or the inexperienced kids, depending on which way we go, are going to have to play older than they are.
Now, going beyond the court, you talk about a vision for this team, the 3 I's. Can you tell us about that and explain what those mean to you?
Absolutely. When I took the job here 8 years ago, it was very clear. I was very clear with the folks who interviewed me and the coaches who I hired on staff was that there was a 3-part vision I had for the program here. The first I is integrity. And I've been really lucky to have the same coaches on staff for the most part since I've been here. The core, the same guys are here. But our big thing is, we obviously are teaching them how to play basketball, but more importantly, we want them to be good men, men of integrity, men of character, men of moral values and that type of thing. So that's our first I. The second I is intelligence. We joke around that we don't have Bill Self and some of Mike Krzyzewski knocking down our doors sometimes for recruits. And so we obviously understand the importance of those kids getting their education, because that's going to open up the door and make hopefully a little bit bigger menu for their life to look off of. And then, of course, that third I is the word intensity. Our hope is our kids are playing hard and gritty and aggressive and tough and represent our community with class.
Now, the player we referenced earlier who is coming back with significant minutes is somebody you're sharing with the football team right now. Tell us a little bit about that player and what kind of impact you'll think he'll make.
Well, Tanner, he draws a lot of attention. This will be his 3rd year as a starter for us, and that doesn't happen a lot for a kid who's a football and a basketball player. He's been blessed with 2 very important things. One, incredible strength and size, and the other one is incredible athleticism. He's an interesting character. He's always fascinated me a little bit, because I've always felt like he is the embodiment of irony, because he walks around, he's very unassuming, soft-spoken, but he has a competitive will of a warrior, and to watch him, dive on the floor or go after a ball or, snatch a rebound out of the air, sometimes I just chuckle to myself and think, you'd never guess that based on the type of kid he is. But also, he commands respect. I think the kids on the team and the program and obviously his opponents respect him, because as a player, he's bigger and stronger than the guards he's going to be playing against, and he's quicker and more athletic and more agile than the big people who are going to try to guard him this year. So he's an interesting combination of qualities for sure.
For more on Tanner, we bring you this player profile.
I hate losing. I hate it so much. If somebody's scoring a lot on us and I want to be the person to stop them or get all the rebounds or bring the ball up court if we need help with that. Just anything it takes, really, because I like being a stop defender. It makes me feel good about myself. To know somebody's coming in, scoring a lot of points, and there's a lot of talk around them, and just come in and shut them down. It makes me feel good. I just like playing both basketball and football. Just making big plays and hearing the crowd just start cheering you as you're running down to the touchdown or making a big sack or a stop on 4th down. And just from a conditioning standpoint, it's so much different from football to basketball, because you're always constantly moving and jumping, while it's football, like the average play is 8 seconds long. We're gonna be pretty fast. We're gonna get in people's shorts, force some turnovers, and get on the offensive side and do the best we can on defense and shut people down. We can be pretty good this year. I think we can do some special things.